إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله جل في العلا، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. فيا معاشر الإخوة, from the stories in which Allah subhanahu jalla fil ula has narrated and informed us as the authentic stories of what happened with the prophets, all of them have been authentically reported in the last final revelation to all humanity, which is the Quran and the Sunnah, upon the understanding of as-Salaf as-Salih. For if we wanted to know truly about any prophet and the authentic story of how it truly happened, then we go back to the revelation, which no one can tamper, no one can alter, no one can change. And the proof is in the pudding. Over a period of 1,400 years, attempts have been made to change the Quran, and every single last one of them failed. In contrast to the Bible, as the Bible still to this day is being altered and changed, which to let us know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised that the final revelation has to be what? Protected. So everyone can get the exact same message. So this truth is as clear as the sun in the sky. And Allah made it clear because out of His infinite wisdom, He knows there will be people who are intelligent in regards to those in comparison to the other creation and those who's at lower levels as far as in their education. So Allah made this proof and evidence clear and easy. For there's not takes a rocket science genius to know that why would I take from a book that's been distorted and take from a book that can't be changed? Any rocket science genius is going to say, I'm going to take the book that nobody can tamper with. Doesn't take a rocket science genius to understand that. For in regards to what we want to talk about today, and inshallah this week and the upcoming weeks, is the authentic story of what truly happened with Adam and Iblis. As we know, Iblis was a prophet, but he wasn't a Rasul. وَكَانَ نَبِيًّا مُكَلَّمًا, and Allah spoke to him. And in this story is so many ibar, so many things to be taken into consideration and lessons to be extracted from the story of Adam and Iblis, meaning the shaitan. For the story of the qissa to Adam and Iblis is a tremendous story. And I don't have time to speak about the whole story. There's too many benefits that is extracted from the story. But take in consideration of what we're going to mention in this khutbah, insha'Allah. For ya ma'ashal ikhwa, we know we live in very trying times. Just alone in Philadelphia, from the period of January all the way up to September, just this year alone, over 200, almost 230 youth have been murdered. Murdered. That's besides them being incarcerated. That's a whole nother statistic. And this has been going on for years and years and years at a time. So in this story, I want everyone to be very attentive of what is going to be said. We know all these messages, Allah is making His signs clear. That all these messages and all this compromisal of bringing all the religions together, everybody bowing their head, is not doing anything to change. Change in the circumstances is not doing anything. Compromise is just going to make matters worse. Because everybody's being political just to obtain some money. But not truly caring for the youth and being frank and telling them what they need to hear, regardless of whether they accept it or not, so they can be better. Please, brothers, whoever has phones with charms on it and music, please silence it or remove it. It's not befitting that we be in a masjid and we hear musical charms and music. For the story of what happened with Iblis, as it took place, as Allah Ta'ala says in His book, وَقُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ لَمْ يَكُنْ مِنَ السَّاجِدِينَ قال ما منعك أن لا تسجد إذ أمرتك قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين قال فاهبط منها فما يكون لك أن تتكبر فيها فاخرج إنك من الصاغرين قال أنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال إنك من المنظرين قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم ثم لآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم ولا تجد أكثرهم شاكرين قالوا اخرج منها مذءوما مدحورا لمن تبعك منهم لأملأن جهنم منكم أجمعين. As Allah Ta'ala talks about the story of what happened with Adam and Iblis. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels and everything, including Iblis, prostrate to Adam. For ya ma'ashar al-ikhwa, the first lesson that's extracted, that in the previous shara'i' and the previous legislations, before the legislation and final message to all humanity, which was the mission and message of Muhammad, that sujood for a person was considered honorable or showing honor or something of that thing, showing it, displaying that it has some type of high status. So the angels prostrated to Adam out of honor in the manner in which Allah created him. Because Allah had preferred Adam over even Iblis and the angels and had knowledge of what they did not have. So out of honor for Adam and also raising the love of Adam in which Allah preferred him over the other creation, He told the angels and Iblis to prostrate. Which lets us know that in the Sharia of Muhammad, it is not permissible to prostrate except for Allah. But in the other legislations previously, because we know some of the legislations of the previous revelations that Allah revealed before the final message, it was permissible to make sujood to a person to show honor into that individual. But in the Sharia of Muhammad, it is not permissible to make sujood except for Allah. Number one lesson. Then Allah Ta'ala says in His book, they all prostrated except Iblis. He wasn't from those who had prostrated. Allah asked him, even though Allah already knew, what prevented you from prostrating to the one, hence I commanded you. And another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in His book, what prevented you from prostrating to the one that He created with my two hands? So Allah gave Adam a virtue by creating him with his two hands, Jalla Jalalu, that Allah created Adam with his two hands, in which is to show there was a distinguishing factor about Adam that stood out from the rest of the creation. From those affairs is that Allah created Adam with his two hands and told Iblis to prostrate to him. Iblis refused and rejected the command that Allah Ta'ala had told him to do and carry out. Where even now, Iblis used an excuse. Why didn't you not prostrate to the one who I created with my two hands, as another ayah says. And in another ayah it says, Astakbarta am kunta min al-alim. Are you arrogant or from those who are high? Meaning from those who created the heavens and the earth. Because no one is able to have the characteristic of kibriyah, the characteristic of pride, except Allah. Because Allah, to him belongs everything in the heavens and the earth. For the one who created and the one who's dominant over everything, he deserves to have the characteristic of pride. Why? Because everything in the heavens and the earth belongs to him. But as for anyone who's created, you don't own anything in reality. Because everything that we have is from Allah. And Allah gives it to us to test us with it, to see how we're going to conduct in the affairs and the things of this world He's given to us. Are we going to subject it in His obedience or utilize it for His disobedience? For Allah Ta'ala has said to Adam, are you from those who are arrogant and haughty and belligerent, or are you from those who are alim? So Adam now, Iblis, he now did an affair which is from the people of innovations and the people of desires. Why? Not only did he disobey the revelation, the command of Allah, he even tried to now establish a proof against the law to justify his evil claim. He laid down a belief, then he tried to utilize an evidence against the law for it. Whereas Ahlul Sunnah was Salafeen wa Ahlul Haq al-Athar, those who traverse upon the correct path, they listen to the authentic evidences and proofs, then they establish a belief system based upon it. Iblis did the opposite. He established a belief and a conviction. Then he tried to utilize some type of proof and evidence against the law to justify it. So add what Iblis did, number one. He did an abundance of affairs, number one. He used his intellect and his mind to oppose the revelation of Allah. And you know that's from the affairs of the people of falsehood, that they utilize their intellects and minds to reject what Allah has sent down of the truth. He utilized his mind and his intellect and his opinion in order to oppose the revelation of Allah. You'll find that Ahl Ilm, that they mentioned and said that Iblis, as a result of him utilizing a shubha, that he had a discrepancy in his belief system, which is to let you know that bid'ah of innovation and some type of pollutants in one's conviction and belief is the most dangerous, because the deviation of Iblis was upon a discrepancy in his belief system, where he used his intellect and his mind to reject the revelation of Allah. So number one, he used his mind and his intellect. And he used his opinion to reject what Allah has said. And I'm sure that everyone in this room now can relate to how when Allah commands us and you want to say, I feel this way. My opinion is this. I don't feel this way. I don't agree with what Allah said. I don't agree that music's haram. I don't agree that music is haram. I don't agree. That don't agree with me. My mind thinks that we need to modernize. We need to compromise. This is the reason why our youth is being killed right now. Because we want to use our opinions and our minds and our intellects to oppose the command of Allah. That's the reason why it's chaos in the earth. It's corruption in the earth because the people have used their opinions and their minds to oppose what Allah has mentioned and sent down to his messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam. You'll find in the ayah, number one, Iblis used his aql, used his intellect. Also, Iblis used his unsur madatu unsurihi likay yufaddilu bi nafsihi ala bani Adam. Listen to this part from the evilness and the wickedness of Iblis. To prove that he was better than Adam, he used the element of how he was created to say that he was better than Adam. What is that? A refutation against everyone. Refutation against Unsuriyah, Asabiyah, Jahiliyah. And in which you'll find that the first sunnah of the one who established this evil practice, to think that one is better based upon the element of how he was created, meaning by his background or his ethnicity or his color or his weight or what he has of worldly things. Looking down upon a person based upon that is a sunnatun iblisiyah. Ja'a min qibli iblis. To think that you are better than the individual based upon I'm taller than him, he's shorter than me. Or I'm light-skinned and you're dark-skinned. Or I got curly hair and you have coarse hair. I'm from America and you are from Yemen. I'm from Egypt and you are from Yemen. I'm better than you. This is a sunnatun iblisiyah. Your salaf for that is Iblis. That's why it's highly condemned and dispraiseworthy, this type of ideology. Because the one who established it and say they was better than Adam based upon the origin of how he was created was started by Iblis. So the unsur or madatul unsurihi تكبر بها على الله لكي يحتقر بها على آدم ويحتقر شأنه ويستصغر شأنه ويظن أنه أفضل منه بسبب عنصره والمادة التي خلق عليها. For you'll find, like we said, based upon, brothers and sisters, I'm seeing some brothers outside for Jumu'ah standing outside. That's not befitting. Jumu'ah started, listen to the Khutbah. And that's even to our own brothers who's upon security. For in regards to what we say in Ya Ma'ashal Ikhwa, you'll find that the origin of how Iblis was created, he used it to utilize it to look down upon Adam. For now, if you want to say, I'm black, or he's from Yemen, he's one of them prejudiced Arabs. Or I'm black, and you're white. Or I'm white, and you're black. Don't you know who I am? Where I come from? Or my background, or my ethnicity, or my country that I come from. To utilize this as a way to look down upon someone is a sunnah that was established by Shaitan himself. Realize that. And once you realize it, you can start curing the sickness that has been deep-rooted within yourself. That's number two, what happened with Iblis. Number three, what happened with Iblis. He also used qiyas fasid, not realizing that Allah is all complete in his knowledge. We know the ahadith in which the Prophet ﷺ established, showing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is complete in his knowledge, complete in his wisdom, complete in what he legislates. What happened with the story of Musa and Khidr? At the end, when Khidr established that he had a little of more knowledge than Musa in certain affairs, and he said to Musa, the knowledge I've been given and the knowledge you've been given, Musa, is not similar to that woodpecker that stuck its beak in the ocean and pulled it out. That's comparison to the knowledge we possess in comparison to the vast completeness, now the complete knowledge of Allah. So how you view Iblis because of your arrogance. Now want to think that your mind and your intellect is better than Allah, to the point where you use an analogy to say, I'm fire, he's made out of clay. You'll find that Ahl Ilm And Ibn al-Qayyim has said, even this analogy that Iblis used was still incorrect. To let you know how a discrepancy in one's belief system and some type of corruption in his belief system and arrogance can make the most knowledgeable and the most knowledgeable and the most intelligent person render the most idiotic and the most stupid of people of what happened with Iblis. And Iblis, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, like we just said, Iblis had used an analogy. And even that analogy, as they say, qiyasun ma'al fariq. It was an analogy with differences, in which you'll find that the A'imma mentioned and said that clay has of sedateness and poise and calmness. And it has of that relaxation and humbleness of what fire does not possess. Because fire is light, it's rash, and it burns. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala established this in the story of Iblis. When Iblis, after Allah had established that he, Adam, is better than you, submit to the revelation. What, as a result of his own sort of the origin of how he was created, made him very arrogant. In contrast to Adam, based upon his origin, how he was created, he made tawbah. He returned back to Allah and felt sorry for what he did. But all the Iblis did, said, give me a respited time to the day of resurrection. To let you know how his haughtiness and arrogance raised him a level so high to the point where he even started to have bad mannerism with Allah, as we'll discuss in the next khutbah. So now you see how Iblis, how he used an analogy which was totally incorrect. Even the analogy that he used to say how he was better was still incorrect. Because of what Adam, what he possesses of, or how he was created, and how clay and how dirt possesses of that sedateness and that poise and that humbleness, which will be a reason, inshallah, that he will return to back what is correct. Another affair about Iblis. Iblis was arrogant, which is to let you know how arrogance is so looked down upon, that if the haqq comes to you, it's incumbent upon you and incumbent upon all of us individually to submit to it, no matter who mentions it to you. It doesn't matter if he's from the Arabi or Ajami. Is he what he's saying correct or not? Ask yourself the question. If he's saying what is correct, not for me, but for the reckoning and the salvation of your own soul, to submit to what Allah and his messenger said, looking beyond the person who's conveying it. For Shaitan became arrogant. And we know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet ﷺ said a clearly hadith that Allah Ta'ala said, Al-kibriya'u ridai wal-'azamatu izari man naza'ani fi wahidatin minhuma alqaytuhu fi jahannam wa fi riwaya qadhaftuhu fi an-nar. He says that my cloak, that pride is my cloak, and magnificence and sublimity is my izar. Who tries to contest him with me in one of those two affairs, I will throw him and cast him in hell. We ask Allah Ta'ala to save us and make us from those who are mutawaldi'een, those who are humble for Allah, and be from those, as they increase more in knowledge, they increase more in humbleness. Not increase more in knowledge, increase more in arrogance. Increase more in knowledge, you see a person becoming more humble. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الملك الحق المبين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد ولد آدم أجمعين صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, فيا معاشر الإخوة, you'll find that the great Imam al-Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, رغم الأنوف الحزبيين وأعداء الدين, that he said in his book called قصة آدم مع إبليس, that he said in this story, in these particular wordings, in these ayat, he says, صدق ما كان ذكره السلف وما كان عليه السلف أن البدعة أكبر من الكبائر لأن معصية اللعين يعني الشيطان كان بسبب الشبهة وكانت معصية آدم بسبب الشهوة. That he says, it's extracted from the story. He says it's the benefit of what the Salaf were agreed upon, of the Sahaba and those who came after them. He says that a discrepancy of innovation, of an innovative practice or discrepancy in the belief system is worse than major sins. Why? Because the shaitan became cursed because of a discrepancy and an ambiguity and a doubtful matter of his belief system. And what happened as a result of it, he did make tawbah. Rather, he increased in arrogance. And the disobedience of Adam was because of his desire. And what happened with Adam? He made tawbah. What happened with Iblis? Because of a discrepancy in his belief system, he became from the accursed. And he didn't even have humbleness for Allah. Rather, he said to Allah, give me a respite of time when I lead all your progeny, all his progeny astray, so I can prove you wrong. Not only that, Shaitan even showed su'ul adab ma'Allah. In another narration you'll find, in another part of the ayah, Allah Ta'ala says, Iblis, look to the evil, wickedness of arrogance that even Iblis had. Iblis said to Allah, فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Because of you misguided me. Meaning, this is your fault. You preordained this. You destined this for me. This is your fault. You'll find that the great Imam al-Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab even said in his book, قصة آدم مع إبليس, say that Adam was the first one also to deviate in an aspect of the qadr. Because he used the destiny of divine decree to justify his evil. Just like a person goes out and kills someone justly. Oh, this is what Allah decreed for you, huh? Utilizing the qadr to what? To justify your evil. Oh, I'm out with my girlfriend. Oh, this is what Allah has written out for me. Using the qadr to justify your evil. Know for sure your sunnah and as Iblis. Iblis utilized that to oppose and have bad mannerism and respect for Allah. Look to the benefits that's extracted from this story. Bang, 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 bang. One after another, one after another. I didn't even get to the good part yet. Then he said, فَبِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. مَا الصِّرَاطُ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. I will sit and I will lurk because of you misguided me. This is your fault. Look to the bad, look to how arrogance took him at a high level. To even the point he started looking down and started arguing with Allah. And Shaitan even knew, of course, had the, in another narration of what the great Imam, Sheikh Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, said in the story. Listen to what he said. Was extracted from Iblis He says, عدم الاغترار بالعلم. لأن الشيطان وإبليس كان أعلم خلق الله وكان من أمره ما كان. Listen to what he says. He says for a person distracted from this story, a person not to be fooled or be beguiled by the knowledge you possess. Because Iblis was the most knowledgeable of the creation of Allah. And still he went astray. And even Iblis has the i'tiqad and has the belief that Allah can destroy him. He even has that belief. But arrogance made him, rendered him stupid. Because in another ayah, Allah says in this book that Shaitan will give up and say all of us are going to be in hell. To let you know that Shaitan even fears Allah. And he knows his destiny ultimately is destruction. So now what it goes on to say, that Shaitan says, because of you misguiding me, and this is your fault, I'm going to sit and lurk in your straight path. You'll find that Ahl Ilm from Ibn Abbas and other than them, upon the interpretation of the Salaf, because we want how the ayat, we want the commentary of the Sahaba first. Firstly, Allah himself, then with the messenger, how he explained the ayats, then the Sahaba. You'll find that Ibn Abbas, I mentioned and said, the meaning of the straight path is that which is pertaining to monotheism, Tawheed. Monotheism of Allah is tariq Allah al-mustaqim, is the straight path of all the words in which it necessitates, pointing towards that Islam, Sunniyah, Salafiyah, all of it is what? Is Allah's correct path. Then Shaitan says, as we're going to talk about next week, Shaitan, if we broke down the plot, Shaitan was to change the human being and turn him out inwardly in his belief system and outwardly. And if I broke down some of the tafasir of the ayat, it will blow your mind. Shaitan's plot, listen to what now in another ayah. ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُم مِّن بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ. I'm going to come from in front of them. What is the meaning of coming from in front of them? Ibn Abbas and other than them from Ahl Ilm, from ulama tafasir. But we want to utilize Tarjuman al-Quran, Ibn Abbas. He says, coming from in front of them, listen to this. سَأُشَكِّكُهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ سَأَقُولُ لَهُمْ لَا بَعْثٍ وَلَا نُشُورٍ وَلَا جَنَّةٍ وَلَا نَارٍ وَلَا حِسَابٍ. He says, I'm going to put doubt in them and your progeny of Adam about the hereafter. I'm going to teach them and call them to other calls. For example, that hell and paradise is here on earth. Or a mothership is going to come save the black man. Or that there is no such thing as hereafter. Or there's no reckoning to one's, or there's no accountability to one's actions. These are all calls that Shaitan promised. That he said this is from the ways and methods how he's going to lead Adam down a road of destruction. By these type of ideologies and beliefs, by causing a discrepancy in one's belief system. Shaitan knows that once he's corrupt, Ibn Adam in his belief, he's finished. Notice that Shaitan didn't say, I'm going to start with disobedience. I'm going to come at him in his belief system first. Corrupt that. Because once that's corrupted, then and the heart is corrupted, then the actions, what is done outwardly, will be corrupt. Because evilness and wickedness starts with the heart and the mind. Then it is done outwardly. But it starts with the thought. It starts with the belief. Once that poison is in your bloodstream, then it will start to what? Reflect in your actions. For Iblis has said, I'm going to put down in them about the hereafter. So you know that the cause, based upon what Iblis mentioned, that you know that the cause of communism and atheism and liberalism, are all calls that will cause people to act like animals or worse. Because if you don't believe there's no accountability to your actions, that there's not going to be a judgment day, that there's not going to be any reckoning, how do you think a person's going to conduct themselves? Worse than wild beasts and animals. What puts us to be upright people and to cure the sicknesses in the streets is to instill in the mind of the people there's going to be reckoning for your actions. How you treat people is going to be judged. How you treat your wife is going to be judged. How you treat your children is going to be judged. You're going to be brought into account of how you did and treated people. Once you instill this belief system in the youth, and they realize this, and it's in their hearts, then you will start to see a change. However, it has to be based upon how Allah wanted it, not how the human being wanted it. You can't worship Allah based upon how you want to worship Allah. You have to worship Allah upon why He wanted you to worship Him. So Shaitan said, I'm going to come to them and put doubt in them about the hereafter. Meaning there's no paradise. There's no hellfire. There's no accountability. There's none of this. It's all allegorical. It's all figurative. It's not real. Don't believe it. That's only stories of what fairy tale stories that we used to read to our children before we go to bed at night. That's nonsense. You believe that? Modern day times, you really believe that? All calls of Iblis. This is Iblis, what he said he was going to do. Cast doubt in them about the hereafter. Listen to the other part. ثُمَّ لَآتِيَنَّهُم مِّن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ. I'm going to stop here. Then I will come from behind them. Listen to what he says as far as coming behind them. Meaning, سَأُرَغِّبُهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَأَجْعَلَهُمْ غَافِلِينَ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ. Meaning the worldly affairs in this world, I will make them desire it, making them heedless and inadvertent of what's coming. Diverting their attention to what's really coming. What's coming at everyone, which is worse. I will make them desire this world, heedless of what's coming in the hereafter. الدنيا سأرغبهم فيها. Another narration. You guys need to hear this one. Then I'm going to come to them from the right of them. Listen to this part. He says, سَأُشَبِّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَمْرَ دِينِهِمْ. Then I'm going to come to the right of them. Some of them say that it means the back of them, and some of them say the right of them. All of it's correct. He says, I'm going to make them confused about the correct religion. سَأُشَبِّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَمْرَ دِينِهِمْ. I'm going to make them confused and make the correct belief, the correct methodology, the correct aqidah, the correct interpretation, the correct belief, correct explanation. Aqidah, Tawheed, Salafiyya, Sunniyya, Athariyya, Fahm al-Salaf, Fahm al-Sahaba. I'm going, all of those affairs, I'm going to make them what? Make it ambiguous and unclear to them. So all these other calls, you see of what Iblis promised, you see exactly what's taking place. Everyone is confused. Everyone is confused. What is the deen al-haq? What is it? SubhanAllah. What do we do? Not realizing if you would just come and not be fooled by the numbers and stop and think, oh, just because a couple of people come to class, that means he's upon Batil. Well, not that many people come over there, here that class is about 500. Even though Allah already said in His book, وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And Allah has already established that the numbers is going to be a reason for people going astray. If you obey the majority of the people on the earth, they will take you away from the path of Allah. clear, hot and evidence. And I'm sure everyone in this room is saying, as clear as the sun in the sky. Clear, clear. You go to those other masajid, politics. What is he talking about? That's not help. Your message is not helping our youth out here from being killed. This message is making us, well, rather we hate each other. We come to the masjid, we smile, laugh, ha, ha, ha. But in our hearts, we curse at each other. Then you go in your car, I can't stand that bull. Man, I can't even stand. Knows what? You're not united in your belief system. The belief system isn't united. It's just a facade. It's not real. Let's just all come together for the moment, to make everything look good, smile for the picture. Knowing when you go home, man, I can't stand that boy. Boy, make me sick. And women, you really know that. I can't stand. You see her, what she was wearing today? Man, who she thinks she is? You see that? Huh? Unification upon the one Aqidah. Correct methodology. Methodology of the Salaf. Aqidah, Salafiyah, Athariyah, Sunniyah. Based upon evidences and proofs. Shaitan said he's going to make it in the eyes of the people confusing. Don't we see that now? And I'm going to end it off with this last part. I'm going to come to them from the left of them. Meaning all types of filthy, despicable, evil acts, I will decorate it for them. This is exactly what we see and taking place today. Everything Shaitan promised, you see it actualized. You see it. And I'm sure there's no one in this room that can deny it. And if you deny it, that means you've been living somewhere in the moon. Because everyone in this room can vouch exactly what Shaitan said is exactly what's taking place. I'm not even going to get into the ayats to talk about how he's going to warp creation. Warp them in their belief. And warp them in their bodies and their outward appearance. Of what men now wear long hair and makeup like women. And women now cutting their hair off. That's all what Shaitan promised. That he's going to turn you out in your belief system and your outward appearance. And from the tafsir of it, as we get into it next week, Shaitan said that from the ways he's going to change the creation of Allah is tattoos. And it says it clearly in the tafsir of what the Sahaba with Ibn Abbas mentioned. Tattoos. And women cutting their eyebrows. And other affairs we'll get into next week. For the story of Adam and Iblis is tremendous. If we break down all the benefits, you'll be like, wow. However, one has to be diligent in his knowledge and learning. The more you increase in knowledge, the more you increase in fear of Allah. And your insight will be clearer to know the plot of Shaitan. And if you know his plot, and if it's exposed, you'll know how to conduct yourself. That's the reason why the Prophet ﷺ said in this tremendous dua, every morning and every evening. And it's upon Abdullah ibn Abbas and Abdullah ibn Umar that the Prophet ﷺ never left off this dua. Based upon the ayah which Shaitan said. The Prophet ﷺ gave the dua to combat that. Listen to it. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyya fi dunya wal-akhirah. Wa as'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyata fi dini wa dunyaya wa ahli wa mali. Allahumma astur awrati wa amin rawati. Now listen to the Prophet ﷺ refute Shaitan. واحفظني من بين أيدي واحفظني من بين أيدي ومن خلفي وعن أيماني وعن ومن يميني وعن شمالي ومن فوق اللهم استر عوراتي وآمن روعاتي واحفظني من بين يدي ومن خلفي عن يميني وعن شمالي ومن فوقي وأعوذ بعظمتك أن أغتال من تحتي. So the Prophet ﷺ made that dua refuting Shaitan. Everything Shaitan said he was going to mislead, the Prophet ﷺ and Allah gave us a legislation of a dua to protect yourself from everything he promised. Oh Allah, I ask you al-afwa al-afiyah in the dunya, in this world, and the hereafter. Prophet ﷺ never left his dua off in the morning and the evening. And by the fadl of Allah, also likewise. Myself, try to never left, especially even here in this place, in this evil place, I never leave it off in the morning and the evening. You're asking Allah, I ask you for now to me to be tested. Al-afwa al-afiyah fi dunya wal-akhirah, in this world and in the hereafter. I ask you not to test me in my religion and not in my worldly affairs. And to protect also my family, my wealth. Protect me from the right of me and from the left of me. And from behind me and in front of me. And from above me, and I seek refuge that I be what? That something of an earthquake would take me from beneath me. May Allah Ta'ala give us insight and allow us to learn these ad'iyah. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت استغفرك وأتوب إليك وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيموا الصلاة.